Lieutenant Kara Voss's ship screamed through Nili's 7's atmosphere, alarms blaring as ice crystals spider-webbed across the viewport. The planet's surface, a jagged tapestry of glaciers and obsidian cliffs, rushed toward her. She gripped the controls, knuckles white, but the stabilizers were dead. Mayday. This is Starhawk 12 crash imminent. Static crackled in response. The comms were as lifeless as the frozen hell outside. The impact shattered the silence. Metal groaned, consoles exploded into sparks, and Kara's helmet slammed into the dashboard. Pain bloomed behind her eyes. Blood trickled down her temple, freezing instantly in the 120 degrees sea air. Move. Now. She clawed at her harness, her breath ragged inside her helmet. The ship's carcass hissed, buckling under the weight of encroaching ice. Kara stumbled from the wreckage, her thermal suit's heating grid flickering. The storm swallowed the sky, a maelstrom of white and howling wind. Her leg throbbed. The crash had fractured her femur. She'd splinted it with a pipe from the ship, but every step sent lightning up her spine. Survival Rule 1. Shelter. The Starhawk's carcass was already buried under snow. Useless. She activated her wrist scanner. The holographic map fizzed, showing nothing but static. Nili 7 wasn't on any chart. No colonies. No rescue. Just ice, endless and indifferent. Her oxygen meter blinked. 12% remaining. Kara limped toward a jagged overhang, dragging a survival pack. Inside, a flare gun, half-frozen rations, and a dead battery. Night fell fast. Kara huddled under the overhang, chewing a protein bar that cracked like glass. Hypothermia whispered at her edges, her thoughts slowing. Should have stayed with the ship. But the ship was a tomb now, crushed under avalanches. A rumble shook the ice. Not the storm, something bigger. Kara fumbled for her plasma pistol. The blizzard parted for a moment, revealing a silhouette, towering, armored and alive. It moved with predatory grace, bioluminescent veins pulsing cobalt under ice-caked plates. Human. The voice was a groundquake, translated through her suit's failing systems. Your heartbeat is erratic. Kara aimed the pistol. Stay back. The alien, Rixar, tilted his horned head. One of his 4 eyes, glowing amber, narrowed at her weapon. Primitive. You would freeze before firing. His clawed hand gestured to the storm. The Karethwine stripped flesh from bone. You will not survive alone. Kara's pistol wavered. Rixar stood 8 feet tall, his exoskeleton scarred and missing plates. Exiled, wounded, his voice carried no malice, only weariness. Why help me? She shouted over the gale. He crouched, snow hissing against his heated armor. Your species fascinates mine. Fragile yet relentless, a paradox. A claw tapped her cracked visor. And today I dislike waste. Her oxygen hit 6%. The pistol clattered to the ice. What's the price? Rixar's laugh was a rumble. He survived first. Then we bargain. They trekked through a crevasse, Rixar melting a path with a wrist-mounted thermal torch. Kara's legs screamed, but she bit back groans. Weakness kills. Our ship, Rixar said suddenly. Why here? A scouting mission. We detected energy signatures. Of fools. He stopped, eyes flaring. This world is a grave. Your signatures are death cries. Before she could ask, a roar split the air. Above them, the ice moved. A sinewy, translucent creature with serrated fangs. A frost fang, Rixar shoved Kara aside as the beast lunged. Kara scrambled back, firing her pistol. The plasma bolts glanced off the frost fang's hide. Rixar's thermal torch flashed, searing its maw. The creature recoiled, then vanished into the storm. It'll return with the pack, Rixar growled. Run, now! Run where? He pointed to a faint blue glow on the horizon. Sanctuary. But hurry, your blood draws them. Kara ran, Rixar's warnings echoing. But as the glow grew, so did her dread. The sanctuary was no outpost. It was a shipwreck, ancient, alien, and marked with a familiar emblem, a human skull, half buried in ice. Kara stood frozen before the alien wreck, her breath fogging the cracked visor of her helmet. The ship's hull, twisted and half buried in ice, bore markings she'd seen only in classified briefings, a human skull encircled by alien runes. This is impossible, she whispered. We've never made contact with your species before. Ifaitzar's bioluminescent markings dimmed, his voice tense. And we were told humans abandoned this world centuries ago. He stepped closer, claws scraping ice from the wreck's emblem. This vessel is Kryn design, my people. The storm howled louder, as if the planet itself resented their discovery. Kara's scanner flickered to life, detecting faint energy readings deeper inside the wreck. There's power here. Maybe comms or death. Rixar interrupted. "This ship is a graveyard. Can you not smell it?" Kara frowned. Her suit's filters blocked all but the metallic tang of blood. But Rixar's nostrils flared, his posture rigid. A decay, old and human. They entered through a gash in the hull, Rixar melting the ice with his thermal torch. The corridors were eerily intact, walls etched with murals of towering aliens and humans side by side, harvesting ice, building structures, their faces blurred by time. "This wasn't a colony," Kara murmured. "It was an alliance." Rixar said nothing. His claws tightened around his weapon. The deeper they went, the colder it grew. Frost-coated cryopods lining the walls, their glass cracked. Kara aimed her wrist light at one and stifled a scream. Inside lay a human skeleton, flesh preserved in icy sinew, hands clawing at the lid. "They tried to escape," she breathed. "I know." Rixar's voice was grim. "They were locked in. In the ship's core, they found the source of the energy signal. A holographic recorder fused to a dead console." Kara pried it free, her gloves slipping on frozen bloodstain. The device sparked to life, projecting a grainy image of a Kryn captain, Rixar's species, standing beside a human woman in a lab coat. "A day 217, the human said, her voice frayed with static. "The Nili 7 experiment has failed. The terraforming engine is destabilizing the planet's core. We've ordered evacuation, but the Kryn Council refuses. They're sealing us in." The hologram flickered, showing Kryn soldiers welding doors shut as humans pounded from inside. Rixar recoiled. "Lies. My clan would never." "They're afraid," the human scientist wept. "We'll tell our leaders the truth, but the engine will blow in hours. If anyone finds this, remember we tried to share this world. Remember that." The recording died. Kara's chest tightened. "Your people murdered them." Rixar's spines bristled. "Phyllis's Kryn tech be forged." "Your kind excels at deception." A low growl echoed through the ship. "Frostfangs." Rixar shoved Kara behind a support beam as 3 frostfangs slithered into the chamber. Their translucent bodies blended with the ice, only visible by the faint ripple of muscle. "Aim for the jaws," he hissed. "A weakest point." Kara's pistol trembled in her grip. "I've got 2 shots left. Make them count." First frostfang lunged. Rixar met it head-on, his thermal torch searing into its gullet. The creature thrashed, its acidic blood melting the floor. Kara fired. A plasma bolt tore through the second beast's eye. It collapsed, twitching. The third frostfang circled smarter than the rest. It struck Rixar from behind, fangs sinking into his shoulder. He roared, slamming it against the wall. Kara scrambled for the dead frostfang's fang, driving it into the attacker's spine. Silence fell, broken only by Rixar's labored breaths. His armor sizzled where the frostfang's acid had eaten through. "You're hurt," Kara said. He shrugged her off. "We need to move. The pack will track the blood." In the ship's armory, Kara found a relic, a human plasma rifle, still functional. "They were here," she whispered. "We worked together. Why would your clan hide this?" Rixar avoided her gaze, applying a cauterizing gel to his wound. "The Kryn do not acknowledge mistakes." A tremor shook the ship. Ice cracked overhead. The terraforming engine, Kara realized. "It's still active. That's what caused my crash. The energy surge." Rixar froze. "If the core destabilizes further, it will vaporize this planet. In your ship's wreckage, it's near the blast zone." Kara's blood ran cold. "You knew. That's why you helped me. To stop the engine your people built." His violet eyes finally met hers. "Yes, and you will help me, human, because your death solves nothing. Only together can we erase this shame." They descended into the planet's bowels, the air growing thick with toxic fumes. Before them loomed the terraforming engine, a colossal machine fused with Kryn and human tech. It pulsed like a dying star, cracks spreading through its core. Radiation levels critical, Kara's suit warned. Rixar activated a console, his claws trembling. "But we can divert the blast into space." "How?" "One of us must stay behind to manual." A roar cut him off. Above Freckle, Rixar's brother, stood with a Kryn war party, weapons aimed. "Traitor!" Freckle snarled. "You side with vermin over your blood?" Rixar stepped in front of Kara. "I side with honor." Freckle's plasma rifle hummed, its barrel aimed at Kara's chest. Behind him, 5 Kryn warriors fanned out, their bioluminescent markings flaring crimson, the color of blood feud. Rixar stepped forward, his voice a growl. "Stand down, brother. This war ends here." "A war?" Freckle spat. "This is pest control." His finger tightened on the trigger. Kara dubbed behind a corroded support beam as plasma fire scorched the air. Rixar charged, tackling 2 warriors into a nest of frozen pipes. The chamber erupted into chaos, acrid smoke, screeching metal, and the primal roars of Kryn combat. Kara crawled toward the terraforming engine's control panel, her suit's radiation alarm blaring. The core pulsed brighter, its cracks spreading like glowing veins. Minutes left. She pried open the panel, revealing a hybrid interface, part Kryn, part human. Rixar init the shutdown code. Across the chamber, Rixar grappled with Vrykul, their claws locked. The code is gone! The system's too damaged. Then we overload it manually. Vrykul snarled, slamming Rixar's head into the floor. You disgrace our blood for this. Humans are vermin. They betrayed us. Rixar flipped him, pinning his brother's throat. No, Vrykul. We betrayed them. Kara's fingers flew over the console. The terraforming engine schematics flickered. A fusion of human quantum tech and Kryn's singularity cores. It's a reactor and a weapon, she muttered. The log scrolled. Final entry. Dr. Elena Maru, terraforming lead. The Kryn Council lied. They never wanted to share Nili 7. The engine was designed to melt the ice and poison human colonists. But we rewired it, redirected the energy to sustain life. They found out. A plasma bolt seared past Kara's ear. She ducked, returning fire with her scavenged rifle. Vrykul's warriors advanced, their armor clanking. Human! Rixar tossed her a Kryn thermal grenade. The vents now! Kara yanked the pin and hurled it into a shaft. The explosion rocked the chamber, sucking 2 warriors into a geyser of superheated steam. Rixar staggered to Kara's side, bleeding from a gash across his chest. The core, can you stabilize it? Not stabilize. Redirect. She pulled up a star map. If we channel the blast into the upper atmosphere, it'll vaporize the radiation. But the shockwave might kill us. Do it. Vrykul rose from the rubble, his armor cracked. You'll doom our clan's honor. Honor? Rixar roared. We buried ours with the humans. He turned to Kara. Initiate. Do it. Her hands trembled. What about you? He placed his clawed hand over hers. I stay. The console needs a Kryn biometric lock. The core's whine pierced the air. Kara input the sequence, her screen flashing. Energy surge imminent. Evacuate. Vrykul lunged, but Rixar intercepted him. Go, human. Kara sprinted toward the surface, Rixar's roars and Vrykul's snarls echoing behind her. The tunnel shook, ice collapsing. She reached the surface as the sky ignited. A column of blue fire erupting from the planet's heart. Kara collapsed behind a glacial ridge, shielding her eyes from the inferno. When the light faded, the terraforming engine was silent. No radiation, no Rixar. Her comms crackled, a weak signal from orbit. Lieutenant Voss, this is Youth Cruiser Dauntless. We intercepted your Sausa status. She stared at the smoldering crater, a mission accomplished. As the rescue shuttle descended, Kara spotted movement in the smoke. A lone Kryn figure emerged, limping, his bioluminescent scars dark. But before she could react, her helmet display flashed. The shuttle's ID tag flickered. Youth Dauntless, but its hull bore the same skull and rune emblem as the ancient wreck. The shuttle's engines roared as it descended, kicking up a storm of ice and ash. Kara squinted at its hull. The skull and rune emblem glowed faintly under layers of frost. Not youth. Not human. Her hand drifted to her plasma rifle. Rixar limped to her side, his bioluminescent scars flickering weakly. That symbol, it's Kryn. But your clan's ships don't use it, Kara said, her breath fogging her visor. No, this is the mark of the Verith, a sect exiled centuries ago. Fanatics who believed humans should be eradicated. They vanished after the Nili 7 incident. Until now, the shuttle landed, its ramp lowering with a hiss. 4 figures emerged in hybrid armor, Kryn plating fused with human tech. Their leader removed his helmet, revealing a scarred human face. Lieutenant Voss, I'm Captain Wren of the Dauntless. Let's get you home. Kara didn't lower her rifle. Your ship's emblem. Explain it. Wren smiled cold. A relic. We're historians. Recovering lost alliances, Rixar's claws flexed. Olir, the Voreth butchered humans in Kryn who sought peace. Inside the shuttle, Kara's suspicions sharpened. The walls bore faded murals of humans in Kryn, not collaborating, but fighting. Wren's crew avoided her gaze, their movements too precise, mercenaries. You're not Yilith. Kara said, subtly activating her suit's distress beacon. Ren chuckled. No, but we are your only way off this rock. His smile faded. A hand over the terraforming core data. Now, Rixar lunged, but a Kryn crew member stunned him with a shock rod. The Vorith promised us riches, Ren said, aiming a pistol at Kara. That core's energy could power a fleet? Or a bomb? Kara's mind raced. The core was destroyed, but they don't know that. She smirked. The data's in the wreckage, I'll show you. Kara raced to the reactor core, the walls shaking as mutants pounded behind her. She rerouted power, ignoring warnings screaming critical meltdown. Rixar's roars echoed through the calms. He was buying time, but not enough. A mutant slammed into Kara, pinning her, its maw unhinged, dripping acid. A plasma bolt blew its head off. Rixar stood in the doorway, armor smoking, one arm missing. Finish it! Kara slammed the overload switch. We have 90 seconds. They fled as the reactor flared, mutants disintegrating in the blast wave. The shuttle awaited, engines hot. As they breached the surface, Kara's calms crackled. Lieutenant Vios, this is UF Command. We intercepted your beacon. Hold position. The transmission cut. Rixar pointed to the horizon. A Kryn dreadnought descended, flanked by Vorath fighters. They tracked us, he snarled. But Kara stared at the UF logo on her screen. It flickered, replaced by the skull and rune emblem. The rescue team wasn't Vorath. They were you.